could be a bit troublesome to stand that AoE. Alchemist does enjoy melee heroes for that reason in his matchups, because he can really leverage his lane presence just by having that spell available. So that's something CR has to be very conscious about. They have kind of drafted them into a very weird hole as well. They've got 3 melee cores up against Ember Spirit, Clock, and Bat. These are heroes that can really punish, heroes that get kited around easily, so they have ways of keeping control on the Wraith King, on that Slark, on that Sand King. It's going to be interesting to see just how far they can push it. I think the big thing here for CR is that they can't afford to lose out in their lanes. Boom ID will try to run you down very fast, but CR can't afford to lose that space. They need a lot of early farm to go into the Wraith King. They need a lot of that early farm to go into the Slark as well. So they're going to have to hold out in these lanes. They're going to have to ensure that their Earth Spirit pickup actually does do work for them. Like, it definitely needs to come into play to start shutting down lanes, start applying its own pressure, because if it doesn't, then CR is going to be bleeding a lot of ground towards the aggression Boom ID is known to bring.
Thank you for that, John. I apologize, just confirming. We do have people looking at the tech side of things to try and sort out the lag, by the way. So don't worry, it should be fixed within a few minutes, hopefully. They are rushing, of course, to try and get it sorted ASAP. Nevertheless, John, look at the game. FBZ already going to get jumped on, and a very nice boulder smash from Ohio as they start moving forward. FBZ getting very low. Hyde will be there to intercept on the clock. Kezcute also going to be there on the Oracle just in case. And looks like they will get the Batrider out of there safely, though. FBZ actually losing a lot of HP. Will have to commit a Tango and an Ironwood branch very early on to sort that out. Did we confirm, by the way, is this an offlane clock or is it an offlane Batrider? I think it's the offlane Batrider, right?
Yeah, it's more than likely the offlane Bat in this case. Is FBZ playing, so you would assume that. Still, I think this is going to hurt the Clockwork's progression more because he can't play catch-up in the jungle. But this is going to ensure that your Batrider is going to have really good timings and everything. And it should at least give us a pretty decent timing into the BOTs and Blink if they are going to go for that route. So the FBZ should have a fairly fast escalation there. You can't expect too much from Hyde, at the very least in terms of farm. Should still be able to get some EXP though. That's really the key thing for the pause for clock.
Okay. Well, VT faded on that Wraith King. Should have some difficulty here up against the Batrider. It's never an easy lane when you have to go up against that core or support Batrider for that matter. And this is why. The sticky napalm comes out, slows that turn rate, slows everything. And once you've got a couple levels, you have that Firefly, you have the Flame Break, and suddenly everything becomes a real headache. By the way, John, good news. I have received confirmation that apparently the lag issues on stream have been resolved. So I thought I'd mention that. It's good news.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to see. And, you know, just this lane matchup for VT Faded, it's going to be rough. Like, Wraith King is actually one of those cores that really doesn't get too much starting armor as a melee hero. He has 2. So, again, once you get the stacks up on FBZ, it's really easy to punish. VT Fade is down to half from sheer right-click trades with FBZ.
He certainly is, and it's only going to get worse. Of course, we'll have a quick look at the mid lane where you'll see Ben-Hur on the Slark up against Makoto, and I love the matchup. Putting the Slark mid up against the Alchemist, making it a lot harder of a matchup for this Alch. And, you know, generally speaking, Alchemists already, you know, are very susceptible to taking a lot of damage. When you're up against a Slark who steals Essence Shift over and over again, it's going to be even more painful. However, top lane, speaking of painful Hyde, he may find the first blood on Mushi, though no, Mushi will stick charge and he will manage to run away in time. But back to that mid lane, John. This Slark should have a pretty darn old good time. In fact, never mind that, because VT Faded is falling very low on the Wraith King now. Will salve up, and Mushi is going to intercept through the dire jungle. They are going to try and harass that. In fact, FBZ may actually be dead as VT Faded has the follow-up stun, and that will actually be the first blood coming out for the Wraith King, followed by Zhao Yu going down to the bot lane on the Sand King to Dreamer Cell.
Oh yeah. Just a lot of action across the map. I do love seeing this. Southeast Asia loves running at each other, of course. And I think, you know, if you go back to that mid lane, you mentioned the Slark matchup against the Alchemist. I think this is actually something the Alchemist is favored just because of the presence he gets from Acid. So Ben-Hur is going to have a harder time to contest the creep wave when it's in the right spot for Mikoto. And as long as Mikoto sprays that Acid in a good spot, I can't see the Slark really trading too well. I mean, he's down to half HP, he still has regen on him. It's just not going to be a pleasant time copying hits.
It definitely isn't. Still Ben-Hur having a decent old time, 17 and 2 in terms of last hits in comparison to the 17 and 0 of the Arc. Very, very even. The top lane, VT Faded, going to cop more harassment out from FBZ and Hyde now. Hyde just going to be as annoying as possible. In fact, a very nice cogs, and now with the Firefly, VT Faded should have no way out. Does go down, and that's one of the really susceptible parts about the Wraith King, John. That just no escape mechanisms up until the point where you have Reincarnate available.
Yeah, and even then, that's not really an escape. It's just a die again, in the most part, if you are stuck in a rough spot. And this is something that Boom ID is leveraging quite well. Like, this combination with the clock, just the controller getting the fact that Mushi cannot do too much to help VT Faded beyond the cookie toss is really hurting VT Faded's lane up here. He's 12-2 right now. Not the best spots for that Wraith King, and all that early farm is really important for you.
You gotta look down to that bot lane where, you know, in comparison to VT Faded, Dreamer Cell is basically having a free lane right now. 24 and 5 on the Ember. You look at Xiao Yu, he really hasn't been able to shut him down at all. In fact, Dreamer Cell, he thought about chasing the Sand King down, thinks better of it, still had some creeps there, so he'll go secure some more CS. But this is going to be a real concern if you are CR. Like, you're losing that top lane, you've lost the bot lane, and mid lane is drawing even. So it kind of feels like all their chips are really stacked on the mid lane Slark, but even then, you're up against an Alchemist who does tend to outscale anyway. VT Faded, however, top lane again, will go down as FBZ had the cogs set up from the clock, and now we'll see the rotation there from Ohio on the Earth Spirit, but he isn't able to connect the roll, and even if he did, I don't believe it would have ended up in a kill anyway. In fact, Ohio, you are moving in slow motion right now, sir. He will start to run away. FBZ going to try and secure the other bounty rune. In fact, he's just going to try and run. He'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and that is the first time we've seen Ohio get a rotation out. Surprised to see him committed to the top lane. I think at this point, at least at this point in the game, you'd want to rotate on that Alk while he's weak. Instead, we are seeing Mikoto accelerate to that level 6 in a pretty good time. He's just about a couple of creeps away. And once that 6 is up, you're going to be missing out on any sort of kill opportunity on the Alk. It's just so much harder when he has that additional regen up and running.
Absolutely. Kodo going to start jungling, although Ohio going to be there to try and intercept and interrupt this farm, though Cookie is going to be there from Mushi. They have 3 heroes around, and Ben-Hur going to easily be able to help clean up. So Ohio will be the one to pick up the kill on the Earth Spirit. That's a very important kill to find across the map. So you really need to shut down that Elk, otherwise we've seen over and over again, they get out of control. But now Hyde, trying to jump onto Mushi on the snap. Looks like he won't have enough damage as the cookie is going to come out from Mushi. But the fact that you've just forced 3 heroes to have to sit up top lane is always going to be a bit of a win here for Boom.
Definitely. Like, you are just giving Dreamosol a free lane down bot, and Xiao Yu is really just not keeping up too well on the Sand King either. So you're copying that bot lane to have a harder time than it already does. Top lane's really just not gaining too much, and you're starving your supports with EXP.
Hyde just continuing to run at them on the clock, being very... Oh, BT Faded!
Ooh. Ooh.
A very close call on that TP. The last ticks of the battery assault almost reaching, but not quite. BT Faded just TPing back to his T1 tower just to get within safety. Looks like he will have to try and just secure some neutral camps. And it can be a little bit hard when you've only got 2 skeletons active, but I suppose it can be done. Again, Mushi going to get jumped on here by Hyde, but he'll use the cookie again and just jump out of there. And I believe that's the 3rd cookie in the row that he's had to commit just to get out of cogs. Mushi's slowly starting to run out of mana, thanks to Hyde on that clock, who hasn't even bothered rotating it. He's just very comfortable sitting up at this top lane.
Definitely. We have seen Snapfires actually be more aggressive in the lane. This is a case where you're really not seeing that. And with something like the Wraith King, you'd expect a bit more, but it's just the lane mat. There's just so much the Batrider and Clockwork can do here, just so much control. Just one little misstep, the Cogs come out, the Firefly comes out, you're stacked up with Napalm. Really not much you can do, although Kezki caught out.
Could be in trouble. In fact, he will be, as Ben-Hur's going to rotate. Xiao Yu with the Burrow Strike set up, and Ben-Hur does pick up his first kill of the game on the Slark. He's going to be feeling very nice about that, and that is 2 permanent agility stats for himself. They did secure the earlier out kill within the first 5 minutes, and now he will spot out Hyde, although Hyde has a haste rune, but he found the real hero he wants. It's Mikoto on the Alk that he really wants to annoy. Mikoto won't even be able to finish off the jungle camps. And to make matters worse for him, that jungle camp did have the keen optic on it, which now is going to the way of the Slark, though bot lane Dream himself is able to find Xiao Yu on the Sand King, and that was basically just a solo kill. He just ran up to him, got the chains off, and killed him off.
Haya misses the roll, so probably not going to be able to chase down Mikoto too far.
They'll try. Mikoto going to go for a TP. Pounce is available, however. He TP'd within vision, although was this a bait? It was not. They don't want to go after Ben-Hur. Mikoto just trying to farm neutrals, but Ben-Hur again not going to allow it. Now they'll roll in with Ohio with the Boulder Smash. But Mikoto with that Chemical Rage should just be perfectly fine. But if you are CR, you're just very, very happy with the fact that he's not farming.
Definitely. You're kind of delaying the farm of the Alk. At the same time, you're wasting a lot of time just walking around this jungle, not finding those kills. You've left Dreamo with so much time to free farm to find those solo kills himself. You've given this Batrider up top a free lane, so FBZ is going to have a good time onto his BOTs and Blink Dagger, as we mentioned before. It feels like you're not getting enough from CR at this moment where Boom should be a bit weaker. It's not leveraging that hard enough. Although Mikoto?
He chased down again. Nope. They won't secure the kill. They just slow him down. To be fair, he's not going to have that super fast Radiance timing. It's we've hit the 10-minute mark and he's about 1.5k gold off just the Sacred Relic. So it's not going to be the fastest timing we've ever seen from an Alchemist. But you already kind of talked about the fact that, you know, while they're chasing them down, it's not like Ben-Hur's been farming either. He's just been running around the map trying to find the Alk, though. Top lane, FBZ does get ganked up now, and VT Faded is the one to claim the kill. Ohio and Mushi now going to start rotating across the map and trying to maybe find Ben-Hur and stop this chase on their Alk. Hyde doesn't have vision up the high ground, gets Boulder Smash. Roll is not going to be there as it was cancelled by the Battery Assault, but now the Cookie and the Mortimer's Kisses. They risk nothing. They will just burst him down. But while that was happening, Xiao Yu dies once again to Dreamcell, and that's Dreamcell's 3rd kill of the game. In fact, he's going to TP up top now. They're going to make a rotation here with the lasso onto the Wraith King. BT Faded does have Reincarnation. They roll in, Dreamcell, it does connect. Weave the Magnetize as well. Can they slow him down enough? It looks like they definitely can. Dreamcell dying and giving a lot of golden XP away to the side of CR. And, I thought that was going to be bad for VT, but it looks like Boom ID weren't expecting him to have the early level and reincarnate.
Yeah, that's a bit strange. He was at the point where he'd have the extra points to dump into it anyway. So, again, a bit of an odd commitment coming out from Boom ID. Should show a bit of respect to that movement up there. They didn't quite have all the heroes available. In the end, though, every time you make a move like that, at the very least, Mikoto is safe, although he's been chased by Ben-Hur.
He is.
That should be fine.
You know, you've got to give it to Ben-Hur as well on the Slark. I mean, considering how much he's chased down this Alchemist across the map, his farm is actually pretty darn good. Still sitting at almost 5k net worth now. Just about 1.4k behind the Alchemist 12 minutes in, which to me is exceptional. And he's really doing a fantastic job.
It's really good progress for Ben-Hur. I think all that activity across the map has paid off. All those early kills he's contributed to has given him a lot more. You still worry about Mikoto. It's not the highest gap, but he is inching towards that Radiance, and it's still looking to be a fairly decent timing, all things considered, with how much he's had to move across the map. So you're still looking at pretty good timings from Boom ID coming out. Very least CR isn't too far behind. If you look at VT Faded, despite his rough lane, he's at 4.k net worth as well, matching Dreamo Cell's farm, so he's actually in a pretty good spot. And the Wraith King can start pumping damage up early. I do like his build-up as well. He's going for the armlet first, so he wants to play aggressive, he wants to be with his team, and he wants to try shutting people down. In fact, very aggressive movement towards Dreamo.
Yeah, Dream Missile, they got the silence off. Mortimer's Kisses to fly out, but he remnants out. Magnetized, definitely not going to be enough damage, and Dream Missile will be fine. He'll just bottle up, but VT Faded. He's going to try and force in this tier 1 tower now. Dream Missile, he's shown himself, but he does have 2 Remnant charges still. Permastun's coming out. Dream Missile wasn't ready for it. He wasn't expecting to roll in after the Wraith Fire Blast. Now top lane. They're going to try and go after FBZ, but Zhao Yu, he really hasn't farmed well, and Makoto's there on the Alchemist. And Kezcute will be the one to pick up the kill on the Oracle with the Purifying Flames. And so that makes it a 6-7. Though I'd argue, John, finding that Ember Spirit and finding the bot T1 is certainly more valuable for the side of CR.
Definitely is. Like, the Ember Spirit's worth a lot more in gold, so trading away that hero is less favorable for Boom. You get control in that bot lane as well, so that's going to deny some farming area from Boom ID. They have some really good far forward wards here from CR, which will allow them to shut down the Alchemist much better. So Boom ID is losing some ground here. In fact, they have to really start rewarding their jungle if they want to keep that farming pattern up.
Oh, look at Ohio. Hyde does spot him out with the Rocket Flare. Boulder Smash, they're going to connect on the Oracle, but he will just Fate's Edict, block out the Scatter Blast damage. But CR are starting to control up that Radiant side jungle now and take over that map control. They'll see Dream Missile down at the bot lane. BT, can you get the stun off in time? Not quite, but you would at least force him to Remnant back, and well, Boom, looks like they want to try and take back control of their own jungle, and they will smoke up after D-warding. Where are they headed, though? They're going to loop all the way around that east side jungle of the Dire, and well, they're going to run straight into CR. They just smoke up themselves, but it's immediately broken now. They'll go after Hyde. Hyde blows up. Makoto, he'll be the next target on the Alchemist, but I don't think he's big enough quite yet. Those Mortimer's Kisses doing a lot of damage. Makoto gets stunned up. Do you have enough? They definitely do. As Ben-Hur does also get another kill, I believe, in the back, and yeah, he found Kezcute. It was a bit of a mess, but Boom ID lose out on that team fight.
They really do. They're starting to bleed a lot of ground here. Sure, you have the Radiance up on your Alch. You don't have level 6 on your Oracle just yet. Really allow that Alchemist to just stand in front and get the damage out. So you're missing out on a lot of opportunities there by not having Kezcute at 6. You need to give that Oracle some EXP to grow. And you need to be really cautious about these movements. They went for an aggressive movement after dewarding their jungle, after knowing that perhaps there were heroes on that side. They did see some people in the lane. They loop around. They were scanned out as well, and just took a really unfavorable fight. Rather unfortunate for Boom. Really good movements coming out from CR. And as long as they can keep that up, they're going to get a lot more in this game. They're behind by 1k. That doesn't say much when you're playing against an Alch. An Alch wants to be ahead by a lot more. So there is a 1k deficit in favor of Boom, but a lot of that is just on Mikoto.
Top lane. FBZ looking after at Zhao Yu again on the Sand King, but he's not willing to dive that tier 1 tower. In fact, maybe he is. No, he'll just take the creep wave.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Meanwhile, though, they let the mid tower just go down. I guess after that last team fight, they just don't feel confident to take a fight up against this Dire side at the moment. But that's all tier 1s going down now for Boom ID, and they are still yet to take one tier 1 off the side of CR. And, I mean, CR, they're not backing off. They're going straight towards that bot tier 2. They have a siege creep available in VT. He has some skeletons, so let's throw them out. FBZ going to be there to defend now with Dream Missile also coming in. It's going to be a full-scale team fight, but Kezcute's already dead. Ohio will also go down, and they will find the Reincarnation Life, but now the Slark Ben-Hur, he's starting to fall low. He'll get the Shadow Dance off, and he's straight after FBZ. The Bat Rider also getting stunned up by the Burrow Strike of Zhao Yu, and Makoto, he'll come in. He He does end up finding the Snapfire kill, but can he find any more? Well, they'll get Xiao Yu on the Sand King, and Dreamer Cell now gonna chase down Ben-Hur on the Slark. They'd love this big kill, and Ben, he doesn't have Shadow Dance, but a great pounce up the cliff, and it looks like he is gonna make his way out of there.
Yeah, overall, a really even trade from both sides. A bit of a win for Boom IDS. In the end, they do get basically pre-killed some reincarnation Wraith King. Unfortunately, not enough to kill him off a second time. But Boom ID is still not winning out in these fights as much as they'd want. CR is going to be happy with how these trades are going. They definitely do have control on the map. They are forcing Boom ID to try to play into their power right now. Like, you'd expect some ways to scout out Mushi's Snapfire and stop that channeling on the Mortimer's Kisses. They haven't been able to do so. They have to commit that hookshot on closer range targets or in bigger cores instead of scouting out with a rocket flare and stopping that. So every time Cogs comes down from her clockwork, it's just a death trap for Hyde. Instead of trapping an enemy hero in, Mushi just aims straight at those Cogs every single time, and that's always going to be an issue for Boom ID if they don't prioritize finding that Snapfire in the back.
Well, Boom, they finally feel confident enough to go after a tier 1 tower now, so they will start setting up that top tier 1. It looks like CR are going to go straight back down to that bot lane and get back to trying to get the tier 2, and they will force a rotation out from FBZ to defend. Meanwhile, Makoto does clean up that tier 1, but now the team fight started again, and they jump on straight FBZ. They want that Batrider. Still, Makoto comes in with a 3-man stun, and it looks like they're intending to clean up again as Xiao Yu falling low. They will find Hyde at least on the clockwork, but now the chains connects. They're going to lose Mushi on that snap, and he does mech up, but he will get burnt down by the Radiance, and Makoto, he'll get a double kill. But what an unstable concoction coming out from Makoto straight onto the heads of 3.
Yeah, really just well-timed coming out from Makoto, managing to catch that big clump up, and that's something you have to be cautious about here from CR. They have been pretty good with their spacing beforehand. I guess they just did forget that that can happen. Of course, you have that BKB up and running on Makoto as well. He didn't have to pop it in that last fight, so he still has a full charge, and that's going to be a massive issue here for CR. A lot of that damage right now is going to be magical on him.
Ben-Hur? Makoto's trying to go on him. He does pop the BKB, and now Ben-Hur does get stunned up. Makoto, he pops the Chemical Rage, and, well, they actually find the Slark. He just burns out to the Radiance. And now, Fortune's End will end up rooting the Earth Spirit Ohio. They'll leave him be. They won't try to hook in after him. But with that, it'll open up that bot tier 1. At least the fortification is to be forced out. And after that, Boom ID, they've had enough. Makoto says, I need to get more farm, I'm an alchemist, and that's exactly where he goes.
Yeah, he's been really active on the map as the Alch. Again, he's already had pretty good timings on his items. He is really close towards his Assault Pierce as well. Once that's up, you're going to have a hard time bringing him down. He has that BKB for the magic damage. Going to have a good amount of armor to negate a few of the hits from the Slark and from that Wraith King, so your options do grow a bit limited. You will have to really just try to jump the Alch if you're going to be trying to aim him down, although early smoke is going to be broken by FBZ.
FBZ is going to tank the gank. To be fair, he is a core Batrider, but you'd really much prefer he dies over the Alchemist or the Ember. And that is exactly what will happen. Though it looks like CR now. Seeing the Batrider down, you don't have that flying vision from Firefly, so you go for Roshan. Still, Rocket Flare will give plenty of vision over the Roshan pit. The BT Faded is going to continue that while the rest of his team trying to defend as Hyde does hook in after the Earth Spirit straight onto Ohio. Ohio should drop here and does. Do they keep going? Ben-Hur says yes, we do keep going, and they go into Kescute now. Meanwhile, VT jumps in. Mortimer's Kisses to fly out. Hyde, he's lost his life, but now Dreamer Cell. He'll jump onto Mushi in the back, and he'll burn down that Snapfire. Makoto is still fighting all by himself, although nice Fortune's End rooting into Ben-Hur needs to jump out now as Dreamer Cell. He finds Xiao Yu on the Sand King, and BT Faded gonna get lassoed up. Another chains to fly out. They do get the reincarnation, and Ben-Hur, the unstable concoction, flies out. He will not die, however. BT has been left alone, and you are gonna lose that POS 1 Wraith King. The only man to survive is the Slark. FBZ does spot him out, but you have no way to cancel off the TP. But you are going to be very, very happy with that if you are Boom. And John, I kind of wonder why you even bother going for that Roshan when Rocket Flare was still available.
Yeah, it's a strange choice. CR does, I believe, feel a bit of that pressure now. They are starting to lag behind net worth, and that is a very good gap for the Alk now. Like 5k for his team, 17k on the Alk, 7k ahead.
Ohio.
He faded. Oh god.
Oh, he gets blocked. FBZ was there to block up the roll, and now he's a sitting duck though. Nice burrow strike to come out from Xiao Yu, and now a huge magnetize from Ohio. But where's the follow-up? There won't be any. The rest will just run away. And unfortunately for him, with that block, he wasn't able to even attempt the Aegis steal, as Makoto will be able to pick it up safely.
Yeah, it's a loss for CR. I still question what they were trying to achieve. I get the Earth Spirit trying to roll in, but Ben-Hur was basically trying to just walk up into the pit. That was just rather strange. Perhaps in anticipation of follow-up to the Earth Spirit still. The rest of the team was kind of lagging behind there, a bit optimistic. Tried to go for that one, and this Aegis should allow Boom ID now to take a lot more objectives off the map. They take that tier 1 mid, they can start taking over the jungle on the side of CR, start pressuring that tier 2 up top and the tier 2 down mid, and really just start to regain some lost map control.
Makoto now looking a hell of a lot bigger on the Alchemist.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's straight onto that top tier 2. Makoto will go for the Abyssal Blade straight after. Finishes off the Basher, and it's going to be a very, very valuable Abyssal Blade this game. Meanwhile, VT faded, John. I mean, his farmers, his net worth's still there, second to the Alchemist, but it's really not very effective. Like, you've got the AC Armlet. It just doesn't seem to really do much in these team fights.
No, it definitely doesn't. I think the Great King's in a weird spot because he's one of those heroes that enjoy the maelstrom as well. You can still itemize fairly well, but the damage output definitely does feel a bit less. And Mushi now being caught out.
Going in by himself though. Mushi does have help. The Burrow Strike will come out and Ben-Hur will start auto-attacking away though. Makoto just man-fighting. He doesn't care. The Spirit Vessel was placed on him, so they did have a chance of taking him out, but it looks like they're scared of the backup. And Makoto, he just keeps running forward. Looks like he will go after the creep wave in the end. He won't chase too far, but Hyde may. He should see the Sandstorm there from Xiao Yu. Sentry to be placed. Hyde doesn't have the vision of the Sand King. Won't risk hookshotting nothing. Instead, they'll go up to the top lane where there is going to be a lasso on BT. Faded Ohio, trying to roll in and help out. You also have Dream Missile there, and now the hookshot comes in. They found the Earth Spirit, they found the Raid King. A beautiful Conks to block their way out, and BT faded. He loses his first life as Ben-Hur. Going to come in and try and help out. Now the roll in, beautifully dodged by Dream Missile on the Ember. Still, you will lose Hyde on the Clockwork, but while all that's been happening, bot lane, Xiao Yu loses his life on the Sand King. And Makoto's going to have free reign over that bot tier 2 tower.
Yeah, this is a bit of an issue for CR. They go for a fight elsewhere. They sacrifice their Sand King as he has been constantly sacrificed this entire game. However, with that movement up top, they just lose a tier 2 objective on their bot lane. So they've only got tier 2 mid now as their last outer tower. And that just means Boom ID is free to run around the entire map. Like, even a Roshan's going to be a very easy objective to take once it respawns. And they still have the Aegis to play around with on Makoto as well. He does have the finished recipe for the Abyssal Blade on top of that. So once that flies out, he can basically burst anyone down.
Gotta tell you as well, John, I mean, Ben-Hur just tried to make a jump on Dream Missile, and he just used Sleight of Fist, and Ben-Hur lost half his HP with one Sleight of Fist. That Maelstrom was just bouncing around constantly. Kind of indicates how this game's going for CR. They're just really falling behind. As now Boom have smoked up. Smoke, of course, will wear off, and they'll go after the tier 2 mid instead and just try to force a team fight. There won't be one coming out, Boom. They'll just happily take the tower and perhaps just go up to the high ground. You still have Aegis for another minute or two. Why the hell not?
Yeah, you've got all the tools available. You've got basically everyone set up, and high ground defense is going to be hard to pull off for CR, although they can.
Yeah, Burrow Strike. They need a perma-stun with the Spirit Vessel. Could be enough. Makoto, Abyssal Blades forward. Now they are at least going to find Ohio. The lasso will also be committed on BT Faded, and they drag him down the low ground as he will lose his first life. Now, can you take down the Alchemist a second time, Makoto? He does finally get the Chemical Rage off. He'll come straight back in after that Wraith King, and a double stun once again. He found Ben-Hur in it. Now Zhao Yu trying to use Epicenter, but it doesn't do anything as Hyde. He'll hook shot in as well. A nice kickback from Ohio. They will successfully defend the high ground, but it does cost a buyback from VT Faded.
Yeah, that's a big sacrifice to make there, and I don't think he really needed to buy back anyway. Like, they were going to pull back even before then. After losing that Aegis, they still managed to at least force that out, so CR is going to be on a bit of a back foot here. They're going to have to be a bit cautious with VT Faded. They do smoke up, though. They want to try to maximize his downtime. They know the clockwork's not there. Scout them out or block them out of the way. They don't really have the information on the map to make a very good rotation.
They're going to try. You can feel how desperate CR are getting. I'd hate to mention this, John, but perhaps there's a bit of miscommunication here between the CR boys. Like, you had Ohio trying to go after a Spirit Vessel. You look over to Zhao Yu, he already has one. So, 2 Spirit Vessels were being built here as well, mid lane. They do start on the arc, but he got that Chemical Rage off, and Zhao Yu is dead again, and now they found Mushi on the Snapfire, and they will go straight after the big boy. BT Faded will lose his first life, and well, it looks like he's almost guaranteed to lose his second, as there is no help coming in for him.
That's a dieback on VT Faded. So he bought back for no real contribution to that defense. Does get punished for it. And a big opening here for Boom ID. They could just try to go again for that high ground. There's no objectives outside. They could take Roshan. It's still about a minute away until we find out when he's actually going to respawn. There's really nowhere else for Boom ID to be but in that high ground, and they are going to start applying some pressure.
Zhao Yu, or rather Ohio, getting jumped on. It's really that easy. Like, Hyde gives vision, Makoto Abyssal Blades. That was also a dieback, by the way. Ohio, he did buy it back in that last high ground defense, so here comes a huge Burrow Strike Epicenter. It's a lot of damage with those Mortimer's Kisses, but it's not enough. Makoto just stands his ground with the false promise and cleans them up. They only got Hyde on the clockwork, though now Makoto may not feel so safe. He wants to back up on Mushi. He missed the cookie. Makoto getting shot, but the bullets do nothing. He will take the first racks of the game, perhaps even a secondary, as he is moving up towards the top lane. Dream Missile will remnant in very, very soon on the Ember. I just don't know how you defend this now. Like, even if they tried to defend this second lane of racks, this could be the final defense we see this game.
Yeah, nah, you probably can't. Like, the Epicenter is gone, the Kisses are down for about a minute. You're gonna lack damage with just VT Faded in front. You're gonna have to accept at least 2 racks down. You might be able to save your tier 4s and last set of racks. I don't think Boom ID is gonna be.
They're coming in.
Mikoto?
Burrow Strike, Makoto, he pops the Chemical Rage again, Abyssal straight onto Zhao Yu, and Zhao Yu gets cookied, but it doesn't matter, and now Ohio, he rolls in, but FBZ has Lasso if he needs it, and he really doesn't. Ohio is just gonna die. Now they found the Wraith King with that Lasso, drag him back, take the first life. Ben-Hur, he'll jump in on the Slark, but he gets hooked even through the BKB, and this game is over. You're gonna lose VT Faded again. Ohio's seen enough. He calls it. And that'll be the first game of this best of 3 series going to the way of Boom ID. And it looked good for the start of CR, but after that 10-minute mark, John, Boom ID, they just took over.
Yeah, no, it was a bit iffy for CR. Like, they had a couple of moments there early on where they were kind of pressuring Boom Esports quite nicely. It always came with a bit of a caveat, though. Like, they tried to match up the top lane to give Ben-Hur a good time. They sacrificed Xiao Yu's lane the entire time. They don't rotate to Mikoto early enough until he hits his 6, and sure, they slow down the initial farm. His Radiance timing wasn't the best, but you still gave enough space in the end that Mikoto just took over. So there were some timing issues there for CR. I don't think they managed to completely match the aggression from Boom Esports, which we hopefully see corrected in game number 2. There are a lot of ways for them to still kind of matchup. I think we saw some shining moments there. It's just the Alchemist really cost them some issues at the end.
It certainly did. Of course, it is MLP johnxfire. John will be back in hopefully just a few minutes to see how game number 2 pans out. Won't be too long.